Welcome back, everybody. We're going to start our data analysis with measures of center. Please pause the video and jot down your vocabulary. All right. So we have this first example of hourly wages. When I'm doing these, the first thing that I like to do is to write my data in order from smallest to largest. So we have that's not going to be very visible. Try that again. 8.25 and 8.25, 8.45, 8.65, 8.75, 9.10, 9.25, and 1650. Putting this in order allows us to find a few things pretty easily. First of all, we can find our range if it ever asks us for our range. We also have to have these in order from least to greatest in order to find our median. And it's also an easy way to find our mode. So if I'm finding my mean, remember X with the line through a line over the top is your mean symbol. You're going to add all of those values and divide by 8. And when I do that, I get a mean of 9.65. My median, I have 8 values. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. These two are in the middle. And since we have an even number of data points, we have to find the average of those two. So 8.65 plus 8.75 divided by 2 gives us a median of 8.7. And then our mode is 8.25 because 8.25 comes up twice in our list of values. So that is our mean, our median, and our mode. Which measure of center best represents our data then? In this case, I'm going to say probably the median. And that's going to be because the mean is greater than all but one data point. 9.65 is larger than all of this stuff here. The only thing it's not larger than is the 1650. And so if I'm looking for a measure of center or the average, being bigger than pretty much everything in my data list wouldn't make sense. And then the mode is the least value. So again, if I'm looking for something that represents the center, and I have the least value, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense either. So we're going to go with the median. All right, we have our water park here. I'm going to again put this in order from smallest to biggest wage. So I have 8.15, 8.25, 8.50, 8.50, 8.70, $9, 9.20, and then $14.50. My mean then, adding up all these values and dividing by 8 is going to give me a mean of 9.35. Our median, again, because we have an even number of data points, our median is going to go in between the middle two here, 8.5 and 8.7. So 8.5 plus 8.7 all divided by 2 gives us 8.60 for a median. And then our mode is 8.50 because it comes up twice and it's the only one. So what could best represent the data? Well, I would say either the median or the mode, because 8.6 is here in the middle, 8.5 is kind of in the middle. So I would say either the median or the mode. Definitely not the mean, because again, 9.35 fits right over here in our data, which is bigger than everything but the very last data point. Take a minute to write down this piece of vocabulary at the bottom of your page. All right, if we're looking at example 1 again, these hourly wages, let's talk about the outlier. Remember, it's something that just doesn't seem to fit with anything else. Now, most of these student wages are in the $8 range, with a couple in the low $9. So that means that $16.50 is probably our outlier. It's kind of way out in left field there. How does the outlier affect our mean, median, and mode? Well, if we were to recalculate our mean without the outlier, then we would get a total of 60.7 divided by 7, because we now only have 7 data points, which gives us roughly about 8.67 for our mean. Our median, we have the exact middle number, which is 8.65. It's exactly in the middle. We didn't have to do any averaging again because we have an odd number of data points. And then our mode is still going to be 8.25. So if we look at the changes, our mean went from the 9.65 to 8.67, and that's a change of 98 cents, which is almost $1. Our median just changed a little bit. It went from 8.7 to 8.65, which is just a 5-cent change. And then the mode did not change. So why might we have this outlier of $16.50? Well, it could be that it's a supervisor pay, manager's pay, somebody who works inside the office and has more responsibility, any number of reasons why that might be bigger or more than the others. Example 4, going back to this one from the previous page, remember we have 8s again, 9s, just on the early side of 9s, but we have that 14.50, and that's kind of way out there in left field. So again, if we calculate our new mean without the outlier, then we're going to get 9.35. That gives us a difference of 74 cents, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it really kind of is when we're talking about the middle. Oh, I apologize. My without the outlier should be 8.61. And remember, 8.61 fits more in the middle of a lot of this data. So it truly does better represent an average or middle. The median really didn't change much. Instead of 8.6, now we're at 8.50 or $8.50, which is a difference of 10 cents. And then our mode is the same. So again, our goal is to have our measures of center better represent actual middle of the data. Now, while the median and the mode really haven't been affected very much, if at all, our means are very affected. And so that's why when we wrote that definition, more often than not, it's going to be the mean that changes the most from pulling out your outliers. And again, possible explanation could be supervisor hourly pay, management hourly pay, somebody with just more responsibility than the rest of the people that work there. All right, we're going to pause here for today. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great night.